Whenever I'm working on a ghostwriting project, there is always this moment in the interview process where the person I'm collaborating with says, I didn't mean to say that, or it's important to the story, but you can't use that in the book. And that's where the moment gets real. That's my favorite part of the project, because now they have gotten to the point where they trust me, and we're going to get to the bottom of the story and the really good stuff. If you've ever wondered what it's like to work with a ghostwriter, stay with me. We're going to cover the 3 things that will probably surprise you the most behind a successful ghostwriting partnership. The first thing that might surprise you about a successful ghostwriting partnership is that you're not just telling your story for you and your immediate family or your coworkers or the person who hired you to speak in front of their company. You're telling your story for the world. So while you are the person who lived it, you are essentially throwing a lifeline to other people who may be going through it or just starting to go through it or starting to question some of the things that you questioned. And you are on the other side. You made it. And so you are building a bridge or extending that lifeline to them and saying, this is how I survived. This is how you're going to survive. And it becomes a much more powerful story. Now, clients will always get to a point where they say something like, I don't know if this part matters, but. And it's until we get through all of the interviews and until we get through really fleshing out what the lesson or the moral of the story is, we don't really know what's important and what isn't. Something that just seems like an offhanded comment in one's life at the time can actually turn out to be some pretty heavy foreshadowing, and it can be very valuable advice. So the first thing that might surprise you is stop thinking about your story for you and start thinking about what it's doing for others. Here's the part that always makes people a little uncomfortable. You have to get naked to tell your story. I mean, not literally, I don't offer those kind of services, but you have to be ready to be vulnerable in print. And there may be some parts of your story that you're telling that impact other people. And we'll have to kind of go through that and decide what's worth a potential legal risk and what's worth risks to relationships or anything like that. Every good story involves friction. And it's difficult to talk about friction without talking about pain. So I tell my clients, be aware. You can keep it surface level if you want to, but if you want to have a really successful project and a successful book, you need to be vulnerable with your audience. You need to extend that hand and say, I see you over there going through some similar things, and I want to help you see that I've been there too. And you can't do that from a very shallow place. You have to get deep and you have to get vulnerable. And finally, know that what you're putting together is not going to be every minute of your life. It's not going to chronicle every person you've ever come in contact with. We're going to use highlights. We're going to dip into the parts that are pertinent to the story that you're trying to tell, that resonate with the audience you're trying to reach. So if you're ready to tell your story, if there's been something on your mind that's weighing down and you think, I want to tell my story, or there are people out there who are like, you need to write a book, but you're not quite confident in your ability to do so, give me a call. Contact me. I can walk you through it and we can shape the project together.